So we've gotten more inside look on the upcoming Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series, upon which I told you was dead on arrival when it first was announced. Also, we're dealing with a far more sophisticated audience, thank God. So I think there's going to be far more pushback on this than it was for, let's say, me with Marvel, me with DC, and the people that were like me. There's a lot more people that are less willing to accept just anything that Amazon throws at them. And then they call it Tolkien's work or say it's based upon Tolkien's work. Especially when you have someone as descriptive as he was on certain avenues. Big shout out to my man John F. Trent from Bounding in the Comics. This is what he said.
Actor Lenny Henry, who plays Harfoot
Burroughs in the upcoming Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series, recently claimed that the series finally sees people of color taking up space in the center of a fantasy series. First, Henry details the tribe were a nomadic tribe moving with the weather and the fertility of the crops. We have big caravans and wooden wheels, and we're very good at hiding things because humans are much bigger than us and bring trouble. Continuing on, Henry says we're the traditional Tolkien little guy. He explains traditionally the little people in this world provide comedy, but also get to be incredibly brave. You're going to see us run the full out gamut of emotions and actions in this adventure. From there, Henry makes what has become the standard marketing plug for Disney, especially when it comes to Marvel and Star Wars. And as an example, Obi-Wan Kenobi actress Moses Ingram promoted the show, saying Obi-Wan is going to bring the most diversity, and I think we've never seen in the galaxy. Yes, she did say that. She added, to me, it's long overdue. If you got talking droids and aliens, but no people of color, it doesn't make any sense. In 2022, so we're just at the beginning of that change. This person is acting in Star Wars, has never fucking seen the Star Wars movie. That has been very clear. It goes to document the various other black people, far before Moses Ingram was in it, that have the position, or rather, that were involved in Star Wars to some degree. He added, this is the actor, I believe, in the Rings of Power. He says, we're very visible in this world and it's very exciting. He previously indicated, if you can't see it, you can't be it. As noted above, there have been plenty of black actors that have had prominent roles in most popular fantasy film of all time, Star Wars. Game of Thrones also features Jason Momoa, blah, blah, blah. He says Harfoots were browner of skin, smaller and shorter, and they were beardless and bootless. Their hands and feet were neat and nimble, and they preferred the heel size. Next, describing the stores, Tolkien wrote, the stores, and this is what he's again explaining who they actually were broader, heavier in build. Their hands and feet were larger, and they preferred flatlands and riversides. And they've done a great job, by the way, of documenting kind of, okay, where was Tolkien on some of this stuff? As for the Falahides, Tolkien wrote the Falahides were fairer in skin and also of hair, and they were taller and slimmer than the others. They were lovers of trees and of woodlands. Not only does he describe Harfoots as browner of skin, he also makes it clear that they are the dominant type of hobbit, and it's very clear through official artwork of what a hobbit looks like. The Harfoots had so much to do with dwarves in ancient times, blah, blah, blah. And this goes to what we had talked about earlier, where they, for whatever reason, cannot separate, or they have an inability. My mods are asleep at the wheel right now. They have an inability to actually decipher between various people that are like, okay, you have someone that has fairer skin on net, let's say that on average, but that can fluctuate. Like, not all white people are as pasty as, let's say, my band member Alex. I'm sorry, Alex. You know what I mean? That type of shit. But when you lead with this, which is what this company is doing, or what this actor is doing, it's like, well, we wanted black people in it, in a fantasy aspect, so that's what we're going to do. Is that going to let's say make the movie or show or whatever that you're producing worse? It can, because you're prioritizing things other than honoring what Tolkien did. And again, we're dealing with a different animal here. Now, but this has been my argument all the time with this shit. I accept that definitely with Tolkien and kind of him trying to give like Europeans their own fucking like or that area, particularly UK, their own kind of thing, let's say. What pisses me off is that so many folks feel, particularly non-folk, that people that are not of that area, right, in terms of their lineage, feel as they must inject themselves into that for the sake of whatever diversity or social justice cause. The reason why that's such bullshit is because basically every corner of this fucking planet, right, that has had various races for X amount of time has their own set of that. So let's assume that you wanted to have a cool element, let's say an adaptation with black people in it. Africa has its own set of folklore, various tales that you could write on, and I think would translate very well in movies. That entire fucking continent in that regards has been virtually untouched. Yet instead of utilizing that, instead of doing that, what they do is say, hey, we're going to take this thing, and let's be honest, white folk did. And it wasn't that only white folk could enjoy it. No. That's a completely different thing. We're not saying that. It's that they had their own vision. If they created that and it was based upon this section of the earth during this time period, then yeah, they're going to be of that demographic. That doesn't mean that a black person can enjoy it. But that is ultimately the vision that was given. And there's nothing wrong with adapting that. This is why when I talk about like when you have something like of Norse mythology, the fact that there's anybody black that's there is retarded. The fact that there's a black Valkyrie or Heimdall makes no fucking sense. It is based upon Norse mythology. And though it's Marvel's iteration of it, it's still based on Norse mythology. It doesn't get much wider than that. Or you have Ariel, or which is based on or you have the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid is based on a Danish fairy tale. It's hard to get wider than that. Europeans have their own little thing, and there's nothing wrong with people liking that. There are many of black people that have had no problem being able to consume the work of Tolkien. So it's a complete bullshit myth that people need to see themselves or whatever. That's all projection nonsense and Hollywood checking the boxes as they always have. But what they won't give you is some cool African shit. It's African folklore based shit. They won't give you that. No. And then when they do give it to you, it's like North Africa type shit. It ain't like deep, like we, where people are trying, what color were they actually? Egypt and shit like that. Like, nah, like there's plenty of folklore in the heart of fucking Africa that you can adapt, that has the magical elements and all of that. And instead of adapting that, you rather take what has been largely based upon the European population and then inject that shit for the sake of checking boxes. People that are involved in Hollywood are fucking talentless, and that's fine. What they will say is that, well, nobody, because I guess people hate black people, according to them, nobody would ever want to be into something like that or watch something like that. So they have to diversify these other things. And that's fine. They use that cover because they don't know what they're fucking doing. And then often when they do make black shit that's like supposed to adapt like, let's say African people, darker skinned people, they have to hyper emphasize the fucking skin tone instead of just making something good. That's fine. Y'all don't know what you're doing. And I'm going to show y'all how to do it. Just hold what you got. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.